What's good, everybody? I want to welcome you to a brand new video. Today I have a question that I'm going to answer that I got on social media. Somebody asked me what motivates me to finish my paintings, and I'm going to answer that while I'm finishing up this one right here. So I want you guys to feel like you're in the studio with me. We're going to be having just like a regular conversation right here. And I got to touch up the sides right here. So I'm gonna add some green right here to the edges, but the thing that motivates me to finish my paintings is a lot of different factors. But the one factor for me, the first factor, is the mental challenge. I like the mental challenge that painting gives me because whenever I'm creating a really big painting, it takes a lot of mental energy and it takes a lot of mental strength because when you're starting out, that is arguably the easiest part of the painting because you just have the image in your head, but you're not really doing anything with that image that you have yet. But once you actually start off and you set on that expedition, that is when the reality of the situation really seeps in and you realize what you're actually doing, because just imagining it in your head and not doing anything, that feels good because you're just thinking about it. But when you actually take action, then that's when the pain actually seeps in and you actually realize that you need to stay consistent with this and that you can't give up, because giving up in the middle is so much easier. You feel like giving up, that's the easiest thing that you want to do. And if you give up, think about it, you're never going to see the finished product. You're never going to see the finished product that you imagined in your head. And to me, that is heartbreaking. That is absolutely crushing to me, because how could I imagine something and feel so good about it in my head and not go all the way through? All right. It's like when you're climbing up a mountain, when you're at the bottom of the mountain, when you see the top of the peak, you imagine yourself at the peak and how the view is going to be. You're imagining the photos that you're going to take. You're imagining how beautiful it's going to look when you look over the ledge. But once you're actually climbing and you're about like 3 miles in, that's when you really just start second guessing it. You start thinking, why am I doing this? You start thinking, am I really going to get to the top of this mountain? But that is what it takes, because in order to enjoy the beauty at the top of the mountain, you need to go through the hike. All right, no matter how tough the hike is, the harder the hike, the more beautiful the sight you'll see. But yeah, I also have a story behind the painting I made right here. This painting, this painting is one of my favorite ones. Let me put up in the frame for you guys to see. This painting I made is one of my favorite paintings that I made, and it took me 7 days to make it. And here's how it went. Day one, I was imagining how it would look. I was like, wow, this is gonna be amazing. And I have the reference photo right here that I used. Let me grab it. Yeah, I have the reference photo. Yeah, I saw it online. I'm like, whoa, that'll be amazing if I painted it. All right, so I was feeling good. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go through this painting. It's gonna be a breeze, and it's just gonna be no issues, right? But around day 3, that's when I finally got the base set up, because it's such a big painting. It took me so much paint just to lay out the foundation and the trace of the person. All right. So then by day 3, I was already starting to get tired of it. I was like, man, I should have did something smaller. Why did I choose such a big painting to make? And then as I was continuing on, the option of giving up just became easier and easier to me. Day 1 and day 2, giving up felt like it wasn't an option. Felt like, why would I give up? This is going pretty good so far. I'm not having any difficulties. Everything is going smooth, and I'm not gonna be faced with anything tough during this painting, but day 4, that's when I started feeling it. And then as I started getting into the water, that took a lot out of me. Because imagine this, or you're already tired of doing a painting and you gotta move into the even smaller details. That's what really tests you. Because going into the smaller details, it's like, it takes a lot out of you, and you need to focus on every single thing. Because if you skip out an area, you're gonna be able to notice it when you look at the painting, right? And you don't even have to be an artist to notice this stuff. You'll see it and you'll think, wait, there's something missing. This person could have did better on this area and they could have changed that. But I don't want that when people look at my paintings. I want people to really see the amount of detail that I took on every single brush stroke on there. I can't skip out on the smaller details. So what I told myself while I was going through that phase, I was telling myself that I just need to go through this every single day at a time. I can't think about too much at one time because that'll overwhelm me and it'll demotivate me from doing more than I can. So I just started taking it one day at a time. And I told myself that somebody will be motivated by this challenge that I'm setting for myself. And somebody will see that no matter the situation that they're in, no matter how hard they think that it is in their head, and no matter how little they think that they are, what they think they can do is possible. Whatever they're imagining in their head to finally do that one day, that it'll be possible, but it's not going to be easy. Because the best things that you have, they're not easy to get. If the things that you got were easy, then they don't really hold as much value. Because all the value in my paintings, to me, comes from the lessons that I learned while I made them, and the struggle that I faced, and the hardship that I overcame. Because there isn't a single painting that I made that I didn't face that challenge of, should I keep on going? But that is what I've gotten through. And the more that you do it, the stronger that you get. Okay, then that's why it's so dangerous to give up that first time, because when you give up that first time, it just becomes so much easier to give up the second time. That's why I don't even leave the option for me to give up if I start something. It's dangerous too. If you're on a run and you say that you're gonna run 2 miles, you stop at 1 mile, then the next time that you run, it'll be way easier for you to stop. So if you set a challenge for yourself, just go through all the way. Go through all the way, no matter how hard it hurts, no matter how bad you feel. Just remind yourself that it's all in your head. Okay, because anything that's in your head is not going to reflect what your body is facing. Our mind is going to give up way faster than our body does. And I really had to learn that as I was growing up. Because I'm just so interested in just reaching my absolute limits as a human. I want to reach my absolute potential. And painting gave me an option for me to do that. Painting was something that I could put a lot of my energy into and get something back from it. It was something that gave me a mental challenge. Something that gave me something to work towards. And that's why I love painting too. Just having the ability to imagine something in my head and then be able to put it onto a canvas is such a great feeling for me. I don't think I have a better feeling than that whenever I'm able to see something in my head and bring it into my reality. That is what feels amazing to me. And that's why I keep on painting. And this also applies to other areas in your life too. When you always push through the hardships, when you always push through the challenges, when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that is when you actually start receiving more. And that's when those things that you imagine in your head actually come to life. It's not just painting I'm talking about, this is everything. Alright. And even in this painting right here, I was going through with it. I was being challenged because every single time I make big paintings, it always teaches me a new lesson. It always shows me how strong I am mentally. It always shows me how strong I can be with consistency. Because being consistent is one of the hardest things to do, but the most consistent people always get the best things. Because even those days that you don't feel like getting up, those days that you don't feel like doing anything at all, when the last thing that you want to do is just go outside and work, when you go outside and work that day, that is such a beautiful and magical thing, because just being able to say no to those limits in your head and actually prove it to yourself and go outside and do even harder work, that is something that really separates you from everybody else, because you'll be the only one outside working while everybody is inside just doing nothing, just enjoying themselves. All right. Yeah, just getting in the final edges right here. Yeah, that's what somebody asked me. Somebody asked me what motivates me to finish my paintings. It's the mountain. It's the mountain. It's the view at the top. That's what motivates me to finish my painting. And the view at the top is not just the finished picture. It's the people that I bring along with me, to motivate them to do whatever they want to do. Because this is not just a journey for myself. I'm not painting for myself. I'm painting for everybody. I want people to get motivated from the stuff that I do. I want to inspire people, right? And if you're young, no matter how old you are, no matter how big or small you are, no matter how limiting your brain can be, you need to tell yourself that you are able to do whatever you put your mind to. I was nothing like this when I was starting out. I couldn't even imagine myself 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago doing what I'm doing now, because I had so much self-limiting beliefs in my head. I thought that I wasn't able to do something that I put my mind to. I thought that I would never do anything big. I thought that I would never motivate anybody. But whenever I get a message of somebody telling me that I motivated them to do something, even if it's something small, that stuff just makes my full day, because that is the goal that I'm going for. I'm not just creating paintings to put in my house, put in a gallery, put somewhere else. This is for much more than me. This is a purpose that is beyond me. All right, so let me see. All right, so I'm finally finished with the edges now. I have a painting that I'm working on upstairs, but I'm probably gonna make that one on a different video. So I want to thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next video.